What is going on, Zombie Slayers? I'm Ducky. Thank you for your interaction on this series so far. Keep it up, guys. Be sure to drop a like and let me know what you think about what makes a good zombies transport today, and also what you think for next week's episode. Well, 2 weeks time episode, just so I can have time to respond to what you guys have put, and then I can also then record the next one by taking in that information. What makes a good zombie utility? So this is things such as traps and other utilizable devices as well. So things like equipment, that sort of thing, that can all be utilized within a game that is not necessarily a direct weapon. So what makes a good zombie transport? Well, this is what I think. Let me know what you think down below, and let's begin. It needs to be not too fast, and this kind of is quite fortunate for Treyarch that I'm saying this, that we don't need something incredibly fast unless we want to get from A to B and there's no zombies in the way, because we need to be able to shoot and take in the journey. We go on a journey through these transport. That's what transport is mainly for. And when we go along our journey, we want to be able to shoot zombies from it. We want to be riding along in our swagmobile, then all 4, 8 players, however many you have on the map in Black Ops 3, whatever we're going to get, needs to all be on there at a time, or perhaps there could be like a train with like, I don't know, about 4 seats on it or something, so you have to take 4 at a time, something like that, and everyone can be kind of working together to shoot, which again interlaces that whole co-op idea, which is very, very nice. But it needs to be not too fast so we can shoot and also take in the journey. And why I said it's kind of good for Treyarch, if you didn't realise what I was talking about, is because obviously, well, not necessarily Treyarch, they would love it if they could make them go extremely fast, because these consoles that we have actually restrict what we can do, just because consoles aren't necessarily slow. I mean, the next gen ones handle brilliantly, and they've only got like a mobile kind of laptop style graphics processor in them, but that sort of thing kind of caps them. Consoles can cap what they can do. I mean, the transit bus, that was the fastest the bus could go. That's the fastest anything could travel on that map. Anything travels any faster than that transit bus, the whole game crashes, possibly could ruin your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Tamagotchi, whatever you play it on, that sort of thing. Unless you have a PC, a good PC that is, then obviously it could handle a bit more. Which is kind of why things should be a little bit, they should have their own PC development team, but then everyone would go buy it for PC, and obviously they want to be able to say the game runs best on Xbox, which is completely false. If anything, it runs all the platforms they put Call of Duty, well, the last 2 Call of Duties on, Xbox runs the worst, Xbox 360 that is, then it's, but if you're just looking at next gen, let's say PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, the PC can run at, well, anything basically. PS4 will do 1080p 60 frames a second, the Xbox One will do 720p 60 frames a second, or 1080p 30 frames a second, so really it runs best on Xbox. No, it doesn't run best, but perhaps you might get a better experience because you get DLCs earlier. No. But obviously that does restrict them, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because it means they've had to actually restrict it, and they've actually done the right thing by making them slow, and we are able to take in the journey. But like I said, if we have a massive map, what's the biggest map we've had? It must be Transit. Apparently Die Rise was pretty big, but that's more vertical. But let's say we have Die Rise. That's a brilliant example, because we have the elevators, which can quickly take us from kind of one floor up above, and the verticality, the three-dimensional aspect of that map was brilliant. So far in Zombies, everything's just been 2D. It's all kind of been a flat map. Okay, we've gone upstairs, might have had the odd elevator and things like that, but it's not necessarily that vertical. This time we have the exact same balance between what's it usually called? It's usually called axis Z, with the same as axis X and Y, which is fantastic to see. But the next thing is it needs to feel epic. So we need to have this feeling of power. When you might have been feeling down, like completely hoarded around by like zombies, just swarmed by them, and then you jump on this transport and you need to feel like a god. You need to feel, okay, this is it. The transit bus, no, because the zombies just completely just flew straight in on that thing, and they would be tearing down the windows, and you'll be like, hang on, shouldn't I walk? Oh no, it's better not to walk, because then I'll get those stupid things on my head. So I'll go in the bus, but I'll get downed anyway. If you go on the bus at like the middle of round 30 or something like that, just because it's very hard to hold them back. And even if you are like running along, holding X, square, F, whatever you do, along all the windows, you'll usually get slapped about 4 times and downed anyway. And especially if you lose your Juggernog and you have to get the bus to get back to Juggernog, then not too good, is it? But we want to feel epic, very powerful. I mean, the first kind of transport we ever had in Zombies was the zip line from Shangri-La. Okay, cool, we got transport. However, it was way too fast. You could shoot about 8-10 bullets, if that, before you had... Okay, if you got the PPSH, about 8 billion. But before you get to the top, it's just... you're out of ammo, and it's too fast, and the auto-aim... Okay, that might make you feel like a god, just the auto-aim as you fling past and just can manage to keep your aim exactly on this one zombie and take him out. But it was just too fast. It was quite an alright distance, but it's too fast. But if we want to get from one side of a map to another, it needs to be fast, like the transit teleporters. And the next thing is it needs to be unique. We want it to be a never seen before mechanism. Bus, again, kind of boring, because this is kind of a futuristic bus, so if we just had a basic bus, it would be so boring. We have a bus, so what? People get on a bus every day. You might get on a bus to work. If we have things such as teleporters, a bus driven by a robot, elevators, kind of boring again, but we go on the top of them, and these are kind of different elevators, but still pretty boring. Gondola, somewhat okay. Portals, again, kind of teleporters, and I think that's all we've had, but we want them to kind of be tailored to the map. So we have Origins, let's give that as an example, a very diesel punk themed map. Perhaps we, and this World War I theme map, we have this tank, and what's so good about a tank being unique as well is, okay, we have this tank that fires like fire out the side. This is very diesel punk, but it's in World War I, and I'm pretty sure the majority of people who play Zombies have not been alive through World War I. So this is actually kind of cool for these people to relive that event that happened over just over 100 years ago, really, the start of the First World War, and actually ride this tank. And they need to be tailored to the map. So let's say we have a map kind of like, oh, okay, good one. Let's say we have a very kind of medieval kind of early times is not very specific, is it? But kind of like times before, or guns and stuff like that, and kind of using swords and things like that. You could have like Viking boats and things like that. It has to be kind of specific to the map. You can't just throw in like something from the future and say, oh, 115 displacement. That's just rubbish. We want something that fits in with the map, and because every map theme is different, or what makes a good map is having a different theme, which is what I'll talk about in another commentary. We'll add it all together, what makes a good zombie map. It needs to all fit in together with its own individual theme, and this needs to fit into the map. And we don't want kind of a civilian style thing. We want something, some sort of mode of transport that we've never seen before. We have a water slide. That's kind of 50-50 really. We've never had a I'm pretty sure we don't have water slides like that we use in real life, because this isn't a mine kind of thing. Shangri-La's sort of a mine, isn't it? Not exactly, but it's kind of, yeah, because there's a minecart kind of thing, so it's kind of a mine. But then we have this water slide that we go on at water parks in kind of countries that are actually warm enough to. In the UK, obviously, it just rains, and if you literally just go to a park where there's a slide, it counts as a water slide because it's always raining here. But we need it to be very unique, kind of tailored to the map, like I've said before, but it just needs to be something that we've never seen before, such as this futuristic bus, things like that. But now we're about halfway through my list, what makes a good zombie transport. So let's take a look at what we've actually had before in the past and whether it is a good zombie transport. And these are all off the top of my head, I haven't written these down, so forgive me. We have this gondola thing, which we first get within Shinonuma, and this zip line thing. Too fast, but it's the first iteration of transport, and yeah, it's kind of cool because it doesn't just go along, we actually get to go up to a new level, and or straight down again. And the zombies can't literally just be on there with us. We are actually on this thing, and it's a way of backing out of kind of camping, encouraging the camping. So I suppose that's alright. Dries is a very different story. We have these camping things, but these are teleporters, and they're pretty cool. We can move from completely one end of the map to another, and we've never seen that before. Like I said, Kino de Toten, complete copy and paste of Dries, just different map basically, different map layout, things like that. Basically a custom map using the Dries mod. That's all Kino is really. But then a 5, we have these teleporters which are random, and that is just crazy. Enough said. Enough without the apostrophe, because we're too hard without the apostrophe to even put the apostrophe in. Next map, Ascension. Lunar Landers. Oh my god, Lunar Landers. I mean, when you first played Ascension and went on these Lunar Landers, comment what you thought about them. My god, Call of the Dead ziplines. Okay, we've seen ziplines before, but this was pretty cool. And the flinger. Bit boring, it's way too quick. But the ziplines, they were pretty cool. But again, by the time, if you're kind of a normal player, I play on quite high sensitivity, but if you're kind of average, kind of in the middle sensitivity, by the time you've turned round once you're onto this zipline, because obviously if you're not looking, you sometimes back out and you miss the zipline, and then you're stuck swarmed by zombies that are dropping down and coming down the stairs. This is on the boat side, not the lighthouse side. But if you don't jump and you miss the zipline, then you're dead basically. So you actually have to look at the zipline, the direction the zipline's heading. So you sprint or just jump onto it, whatever. And then by the time you've turned round, you drop straight down again, so you can't shoot at all. Then I have Shangri-La. That has kind of a lot of things. We have the water slide. We have the minecart. Is there another thing There's kind of the waterfall thing, but that's not really it. That was a very late addition to the map as well. But no, I think that's it. Yeah, we've seen those things before, but we haven't really seen them in the countries, the main countries that we play these things in. So, play the map in. Sorry, we have kind of the Northern American countries. We have UK. Then we have kind of the European countries, a lot of them. And Japan, possibly, I think they play it, and I think that's about it. And they've just lifted the ban in China, but when that map came out, then you couldn't play it. But in the countries like China and India, well, India, I don't know many Indians that play it anyway. But they kind of, like, I'm not saying this from a stereotypical view. You know, when you go on like Black Ops 2 and you can look at the globe, like most of the Call of Duties have that globe, and you can see who's online. That's what I'm basing it off my memory. So forgive me if I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. But we have kind of the Himalayan mountains, and that's where it's set. And when this came out, and still to date, we don't really have any mines in North America and Europe. They're mainly in kind of the less fortunate countries. I won't say less fortunate, but kind of less urban. Well, urban's not really the word, is it? Less kind of developed countries is the word, such as South America, Africa, kind of some of Asia, not all of it. Like you've got Japan, and China. They're very rich countries, but the kind of ones that mine and pretty much is mined out by slaves, basically. And even them won't get to ride minecarts, but it's that sort of thing that we've never seen before. And obviously if someone from those countries did see it, they'd be like, minecarts, that's not fun, they're awful to go on. But for us, they are pretty fun to ride on, obviously. We then get Moon, which has these jumping pads, and oh my god, this is on the moon, of course it's unique. Wow, we have these jumping pads, we have these kind of lifting up pads, can't remember what they're called. Oh, but it's pretty cool. And we have a teleporter too. I mean, yeah, Moon's got it all, hasn't it? Then we get Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Lag Ops 2. Transit. We have this bus with the futuristic thing I've already talked about there, and the teleporters on there. Pretty sure there's not any other sort of transport. Bus Route B, is it? Yeah, that's it. We then have Nuketown. Nothing on that map. Why did it take me so long to think about that? We have Die Rise, we have the elevators, and we get the trample stick. I mean, we get to build this. This is kind of a utility as well that you can use, but we get the trample steam. Oh my god. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Utilised in so many ways, which is why it's such a good utility too. Mob of the Dead, we get the gondola, we get the plane. Okay, we've flown in planes a lot before in Call of Duty, but this is one we've actually achieved. We've built it ourselves. We've worked throughout this entire game to build this plane, so that's what we've done. We've built this plane, and yeah, we've definitely achieved that. And is there... No, I think that's it. Buried, we get a teleporter, that's about it. But Buried is very magical and very vertical. So we kind of, if we jump onto a ledge, that ledge can fall, and we get the trample steam back again as well. So yes, and finally Origins, we get the tank, and we get these kind of teleporter things as well into the crazy place. But the tank, I've already talked about that. The next point I want to make is that it should have no control to it. We do not get to steer it, we do not have to drive it, we have to focus on the epic feeling of actually going on this, and it goes to a fixed location once the player's on or has paid for it. And I haven't actually listed prices, but what do you guys think about prices for a transport? How much should we pay for it? How much should we pay depending on how long the journey is, how quick we get there, things like that? Should we get a transport that the more money we pay for it, the further it'll go, or the faster it'll go, something like that. However, what I think would also be really cool is that we get on a transport but it has a random location. So let's say we get on like a water slide and then you're not sure which way you can go, and you can use the thumbsticks to move to perhaps the left or the right in like kind of a Y junction thing that we have, or a T junction, whatever you like to call it. But there's still no control over which way you go. The game's already decided for you which way you're going, and it's always random, such as go left or right, which is what we've seen in the 5 teleporters, which could kind of be annoying as well, especially when the Pentagon Thief's there. But let me know what you think about that idea. I think that'd be kind of cool to integrate into a game. But thank you for joining me today. It's been quite a long one, but that's my opinions. That's how long it's taken to express my opinions on what makes a good zombies transport. Let me know what you think. Tell me for next week what you think makes a good zombie utility, and I will see you all next time.